Small town Friday nights used to feel bigger than the whole world. The whole town packed those bleachers, every game under those lights. Cheerleaders yelling from the sidelines, bonfire smoke drifting through the night. I barely watched the scoreboard, most nights I couldn't care less. I was too busy watching you in that old blue jacket and sundress. Funny how love sneaks in when you're too young to notice it happening. Friday night lights and you, that's what I remember most. Not the winds, not the headlines, just us laughing in the cold. Yeah, everybody talks about football, but that ain't what stayed in my mind. It was Friday night lights and you, burning brighter than the whole small town combined. After the game, we drive nowhere, just wasting gas and killing time. Windows down, radio low, thinking those nights would never die. You draw circles on my hand while we park beneath those stars, and somehow back then forever didn't feel all that far. Guess growing older means realizing the moments you miss most are usually the quiet ones. Friday night lights and you, that's still my favorite memory. Not because life was perfect, but because we were free. Yeah, the world got complicated later, people moved and dreams changed too, but nothing ever felt quite like Friday night lights and you. Funny thing is, I don't even remember the scores anymore, but I remember your laugh like it happened yesterday. Friday night lights and you still show up every now and then in old songs, old roads, and places I ain't been in years since then. Yeah, time keeps moving forward, but some memories stay bright and true, and mine still looks a lot like Friday night lights and you. Small towns fade slowly, some memories don't fade at all. Funny how evenings bring certain memories back. Sun dropping low behind the fields, painting gold across the road. There's something about this hour makes old feelings rise up slow. I can drive all day just fine, keep my mind on everything else. But when the sky starts turning orange, I start remembering us again. Guess some memories wait quietly till the world slows down enough to hear them. Some memories only show up at sunset, when the light gets soft and low, when old songs hit a little deeper, and nowhere feels like home. Yeah, I'll be doing alright all day. Then evening rolls back in. Some memories only show up at sunset, and tonight you showed up with them again. There's a road outside this small town where we used to watch the sky, talking about forever like we had all the time in life. Now years pass faster than they used to, people change and seasons move, but sunsets still know exactly which parts of my heart lead back to you. Funny how healing works. You move forward while still carrying pieces behind you. Some memories only show up at sunset, like shadows stretching through the past, not trying to hurt me anymore, just reminding me those moments happened and lasted. Yeah, maybe that's what growing older is, learning certain feelings never fully leave. Some memories only show up at sunset, and honestly, I'm alright with that this evening. Maybe not every memory needs fixing, maybe some are just meant to visit now and then, like old friends passing through the sky. Some memories only show up at sunset, when the world gets quiet enough to feel, when old roads, old songs, and old love still somehow feel a little real. Yeah, life keeps moving like it should, but some moments stay gold in the end. Some memories only show up rising slow, still beautiful somehow.
Funny how an old truck can remember things better than people do.
Paint's faded off the driver's side, dashboard cracked from summer heat. Still got dirt from county roads ground deep into the seats. I should probably trade it in by now, everybody tells me so. But every scratch and every mile feels too hard to let go. 'Cause every time that engine starts, it takes me back somewhere. That old truck still sounds like us, like late night drives with nowhere to be, like your boots up on the dashboard and your hand reaching over to me. Yeah, the radio still crackles just like it did back then. That old truck still sounds like us, and I hear it every time the wheels start rolling again. There's a little burn mark near the console from that cheap lighter you used, and your favorite station still comes in around mile marker 22. Funny how memories hide themselves inside little things like this. An old bench seat in summer air can still feel like a first kiss. Guess some people move on faster than old trucks and old hearts do. That old truck still sounds like us, like teenage nights beneath small town stars, before life got loud and complicated and pulled us both apart. Yeah, I know it's just an old Chevy to everybody else driving by, but that old truck still sounds like us. And maybe that's why I still hold on to it tonight. I could probably buy something newer, something smoother, cleaner, easier, but it wouldn't know our story the way this truck does. That old truck still sounds like us, even after all these years, like laughter bouncing off gravel roads, and dreams bigger than this town out here. Yeah, some things fade slowly and some things never really leave. That old truck still sounds like us, every time it starts up underneath me. Windows down, static on the radio, still feels a little like you. felt like time forgot about us. There was an old song playing softly somewhere behind the crowd, people talking all around us, but somehow everything faded out. Your hand resting on my shoulder, mine steady at your waist. And for the first time in a long time, life didn't feel like something to chase. Funny how peace sometimes shows up in the smallest moments. We danced slow while the world kept moving, like nothing else mattered that night. Like bills, broken dreams, and goodbyes could wait outside those lights. Yeah, everybody else kept spinning, but somehow we stood still. We danced slow while the world kept moving, and part of me still does with you. You smiled halfway through the chorus, like you already knew this was one of those memories life wouldn't let us lose. Outside the highway kept running, people chasing bigger things, but there in that little moment, we had everything. Guess love ain't always loud. Sometimes it's just being fully there with someone. We danced slow while the world kept moving, while the years kept rolling on, while small towns changed and people left, and somehow we still held on. Yeah, I don't remember every detail, but I remember how it felt. We danced slow while the world kept moving, and nothing's ever matched that since. Maybe that's why certain memories stay forever. Not because they were dramatic, but because for one little moment, everything felt right. We danced slow while the world kept moving, and maybe that's all love really is. Finding someone who makes time slow down in a life that moves too fast to live. Yeah, the song ended long ago, but I still hear it now and then. We danced slow while the world kept moving, and I'd do it all again. Just one slow song in a world that disappeared a while. in small towns. Men learn real early how to stay quiet about pain. You can see it in the bar downtown, Friday night around closing time. Old working men with tired shoulders, laughing louder than they feel inside. Some got marriages barely hanging, some got debts they can't outrun. Some just sit there staring at the TV like they forgot how to feel much of anything anymore. But nobody says it out loud, nobody wants to look weak, so they talk football, weather, old trucks, anything except the things keeping them up all week. Guess some men were raised believing silence is what strength looks like. Small town men don't talk about breaking down, don't talk about panic in the middle of the night, don't talk about feeling lost at 40 or staring at the ceiling till daylight. Yeah, they keep showing up every morning, boots on, jaw set hard. Small town men don't talk about breaking down, they just quietly carry scars. Buddy of mine named Danny, he used to be the loudest guy around. Now he barely says 2 sentences since the factory laid half the crew down. Saw him last week at the gas station, looked 20 years older somehow. We stood there talking about fishing while both pretending we were all right now. Funny how loneliness hides easier behind camouflage and working hands. Nobody notices a man fading slowly if he still clocks in like he's playing. Guess survival gets lonely when you think nobody else understands it too. Small town men don't talk about breaking down, they talk about weather and getting by, talk about football scores and overtime while something heavier lies behind their eyes. Yeah, they were taught to keep moving no matter how deep the hurt. Small town men don't talk about breaking down even when they feel one bad week from worse. Dad never cried growing up, at least not where anybody could see. Even after Grandpa passed away, he just worked longer shifts quietly. He used to think that made him stronger. Now I'm not so sure these days. Maybe strength ain't hiding your pain forever. Maybe strength is learning how to say it. And maybe half this town's exhausted, not just physically but deep inside, trying to survive this world without ever feeling allowed to admit they're tired. Funny thing about silence, after enough years, it starts sounding normal, even when somebody's drowning underneath it. Small town men don't talk about breaking down, but maybe some probably should. Maybe carrying everything alone ain't helping anybody like we thought it would. Yeah, tomorrow morning comes early and life keeps rolling hard through town, but small town men don't talk about breaking down. They just pray nobody notices when they do. Neon lights dimming, bar stools empty. Another quiet drive home.
Some sounds stay with a man his whole life. 5 a.m. and the sky still black, coffee steaming in my hand. Same old jacket by the doorway, same routine I never planned. Street lights glowing through the fog, factory smoke climbing slow. Funny how after all these years my body wakes up before I know. I hear that whistle through the cold air, cuts across this tired town, like it's calling every working soul back to the line again somehow. Guess after enough years, a job starts feeling like part of your heartbeat. The factory whistle still owns my mornings, still pulls me out of bed before dawn, still echoes through these empty streets long before the sunlight comes. Yeah, I gave this town my back and hands, and most my best years too. The factory whistle still owns my mornings, even on days I wish it didn't anymore. Dad heard the same whistle mornings 30 years before I did. Said honest work would build a future for a wife, a house and kids. And maybe for a while it did, back when this town was doing alright, before half the mill shut down and Friday bars got quiet at night. Now there's younger guys beside me, already looking worn down thin, trying to survive inflation and still smile walking in. Funny how generations change, but tired working men still look the same. The factory whistle still owns my mornings, still decides where my life goes, still rings louder than my own dreams most days, if I'm being honest though. Yeah, there's pride in honest labor, but there's sacrifice in it too. The factory whistle still owns my mornings, and probably always will till I'm through. Some mornings driving in half awake, I wonder where the years all went. How many sunrises disappear between overtime and paying rent. But then I think about the family sleeping warm back home in bed, and somehow that whistle sounds different, knowing who it all gets done for instead. Maybe life ain't glamorous here, maybe nobody notices our names, but this whole town keeps breathing because somebody keeps showing up anyway. Funny thing about routine, it can wear a man down slowly and still somehow become the thing that keeps his world together too. The factory whistle still owns my mornings, still rises with the breaking day, still calls out through this steel town where hard men quietly carry weight. Yeah, someday that whistle won't know me, someday these old boots won't walk that floor, but the factory whistle still owns my mornings, just like it always has before. Coffee gone cold, sunrise coming slow, another shift begins. Alarm clock ringing before the sun again. Coffee brewing in the kitchen, boots lined up beside the door. Another cold, dark morning, just like 100 times before. Street lights shining on wet pavement, whole town still asleep, except the guys heading to the factory, dragging tired bones through another week. I pull my jacket tighter as the old truck starts to shake. Funny how life keeps moving, even when your body wants to break. Guess working men learn early, the world don't stop because you're tired. It's another 5 a.m. in this steel town, another long shift punching in, another sunrise I barely notice before the noise starts up again. Yeah, this town runs on tired people, holding on the best they can. It's another 5 a.m. in this steel town, and somehow we get up again. Old Joe's already smoking outside, talking about gas prices climbing again. Mike says his back ain't been right since that winter back in 10. Everybody's carrying something, most don't say it out loud. Guess blue-collar men were raised to believe you just keep your head down proud. There's rust on half these buildings and cracks running through these streets, but there's still lunch boxes and hard hats showing up every week. Funny how survival starts feeling normal after enough years of doing it. It's another 5 a.m. in this steel town. Another paycheck already spent. Another promise to the family that next month might make more sense. Yeah, we keep chasing steady living while life keeps raising the cost. It's another 5 a.m. in this steel town, trying hard not to think about what got lost. I remember when this town was booming, bars packed full on Friday nights. Dad used to say the factory whistles sounded like honest life. Now half the storefronts are empty and kids move away when they can, but some of us stayed right here, trying to build something with our hands. Maybe that ain't glamorous, maybe nobody writes songs for guys like us, but there's dignity in showing up tired and still doing what you must. Sometimes driving home at sunrise, I wonder how many years went by this fast. How many mornings disappeared between overtime and staying afloat. It's another 5 a.m. in this steel town, and the factory lights still glow. Same roads, same cold mornings, same people carrying heavy loads. Yeah, life ain't always kind here, but there's pride underneath the scars. It's another 5 a.m. in this steel town, still chasing something better through the dark. Coffee's gone cold, morning's breaking slow. Another day begins. Funny how dreams keep costing money, even after people leave. There's a mortgage on this little house, still got your favorite paint on the walls. Half the furniture we picked together still sitting right where it always was. Truck payment due next Friday, credit cards hanging by a thread, and every month feels like another reminder of plans that never went where we said. We used to stay up late talking about the life we'd build someday. Funny how dreams sound beautiful before real life starts charging interest every day. Guess heartbreak don't always leave all at once. Sometimes it bills you monthly instead. I'm still paying for dreams we used to have, still working overtime to keep them alive, still carrying pieces of a future that didn't survive. Yeah, the bank still wants its money, even after goodbye came and went. I'm still paying for dreams we used to have. And honestly, that might be the hardest part of it. There's a room we painted yellow, thought someday it'd be a nursery. Now it mostly holds old boxes and echoes of what could have been, honestly. Some nights I sit there in the driveway, engine running after work, trying to build enough energy to walk inside where the silence hurts. Funny thing about adulthood, nobody warns you growing up how quickly love and debt and pressure can all get tangled together at once. Guess some dreams don't disappear, they just slowly become bills instead. I'm still paying for dreams we used to have, for the house, the plans, the years, for believing hard work and love alone could somehow protect us from fear. Yeah, I know people move on eventually, at least that's what everybody says. But I'm still paying for dreams we used to have. Every single month since you left, I saw your old coffee mug this morning, still tucked behind the kitchen sink. And for a second I forgot how long it's really been since you left me here to think. Maybe nobody's really prepared for how ordinary heartbreak looks. Not dramatic movie scenes, just overdue notices in quiet rooms. And maybe healing ain't forgetting, maybe it's learning how to carry loss without letting it hollow everything inside you. Every time life reminds you what it cost. Funny thing about dreams, even broken ones, leave footprints all over your life. I'm still paying for dreams we used to have, but maybe tonight I finally see some dreams end halfway through, and life still asked you to keep moving anyway, honestly. Yeah, the rain keeps falling outside, and tomorrow morning comes again. I'm still paying for dreams we used to have, but somehow I'm still standing in the end. Bills on the counter, headlights in the rain. Another month rolls in. Funny how some roads never really leave you. There's a little two-lane highway running past the edge of town. We drive with all the windows down, nowhere to go, just riding around. Your feet up on the dashboard, hair blowing wild in the wind, talking about forever like we knew what that meant back then. Back when life felt wide open and time moved slow. We were 17 on those back roads, young enough to think love stays, with the radio turned up loud and summer burning through those days. Yeah, we thought nothing could change us, nothing could ever go wrong. We were 17 on those back roads. Somehow that still feels like home. There was a field behind the old church where we'd park after dark. You'd draw little hearts on the fogged up glass and laugh every time I missed your hand in the dark. Everything felt endless, like those nights would never fade. Funny how the smallest moments turn into the memories that stay. Guess growing up means learning you can't hold on to everything. We were 17 on those back roads, counting stars above the trees, talking like the whole wide world was waiting there for you and me. Yeah, life got bigger after that, but not always better somehow. We were 17 on those back roads, and I still think about it now. Maybe that's why nostalgia hurts a little, not because life was perfect, but because we didn't know how fast it would all disappear. We were 17 on those back roads, before bills and broken hearts, before goodbye got complicated, before people drift apart. Yeah, if I could go back anywhere, it wouldn't be some big hometown scene. It'd just be us driving nowhere. 17 on those back roads again. Windows down, summer air, you and me out there somewhere. Back then, we thought this town would always be ours. Main Street glowing under yellow lights, old diner closing for the night. We were parked out by the water tower, talking for hours past midnight. We leaned over slow and smiling, like the whole world could wait a while. somehow that little moment made this town feel endless for a while. Funny how one kiss can turn a small town into a forever kind of place. You kissed me like small towns never end, like we'd always stay this young, like Friday nights and county roads would never come undone. Yeah, the stars fell closer back then, hanging over those old fields. You kissed me like small towns never end, and for a while I really believe they didn't. There was music drifting softly from somebody's truck nearby, and your hand wrapped around mine like letting go never crossed your mind. We talked about moving someday, getting out beyond these lines, but funny enough, the thing I miss most now is who we were before we tried. Guess young love don't always last forever, but the feeling somehow does. You kissed me like small towns never end, like summers never fade away, like there'd always be another sunset waiting at the end of every day. Yeah, life got bigger after that, but never quite as real somehow. You kissed me like small towns never end, and I still feel it now. Maybe that's what nostalgia really is. Not wanting the past back exactly, just missing how certain moments felt before life got complicated. You kissed me like small towns never end, like love was simple and true, like old roads and old dreams could somehow carry us through. Yeah, time keeps pulling people forward, but some memories never move. You kissed me like small towns never end, and part of me still lives there with you. Small towns get quieter with time, but some nights still sound like us. Back then, 3 months felt like a lifetime. There was sunburn on our shoulders, dust kicked up behind those tires, cheap gas station coffee, and late night bonfire fires. We spent every day outside, like time was ours to waste, never thinking someday we'd look back wishing we could stay. Funny how young hearts believe good things just keep going. We thought summer would last forever, like those nights would never end, like we'd always be right there, young and reckless with our friends. Yeah, we lived like August sunsets would keep hanging in that sky. We thought summer would last forever, back before we learned goodbye. There was an old dock by the water where you'd sit beside me close, talking about getting out someday, like we both already knew where we'd go. Now everybody's somewhere different, different towns, different lives, but every time July rolls around, those memories come back alive. Guess nostalgia ain't about perfection, it's about missing how things felt. We thought summer would last forever, before jobs and growing up, before we learned people change in time and ain't always enough. Yeah, we didn't know how lucky we were standing there beneath those stars. We thought summer would last forever, and maybe part of it still does in our hearts.
Funny thing is, I can't remember every detail anymore, but I remember the feeling, like freedom smelled like cut grass and lake water.
We thought summer would last forever, and honestly maybe that's alright. Maybe some memories stay beautiful because they only existed for a little while. Yeah, life moved on like it always does, but sometimes I still close my eyes and I'm right back there believing summer never had to end that night. Windows down, warm air, those nights still live somewhere. There's a faster road home now, I just don't always take it. There's an old two-lane outside town, cuts through fields and railroad tracks. Takes about 15 minutes longer, but some nights I still drive that way back. Past the diner where we met, past your mama's little white house, past the gas station parking lot where we used to sit and talk for hours. Funny how roads remember people long after they stop driving them together. I still take the long way home sometimes, just to see if the memories still feel the same. just to watch those old street lights glow against the summer rain. Yeah, I know there's nothing waiting there, and I know you've long moved on, but I still take the long way home sometimes, when I need to feel where I came from. There's a curve near Miller's Farm where you used to lean over close, singing every word off key to songs we both still probably know. Funny how growing older makes old places hit harder now, like pieces of who we were still live somewhere out there somehow. Guess nostalgia ain't really about the road, it's about who you were back then. I still take the long way home sometimes, even when I got nowhere to be, just letting old memories ride shotgun, keeping quiet company. Yeah, life keeps moving faster, but some parts of me move slow, so I still take the long way home sometimes, just to let those old feelings breathe a little more. Maybe healing ain't forgetting roads, maybe it's learning how to drive them without breaking apart anymore. I still take the long way home sometimes, and honestly, I probably always will. Not because I'm stuck in the past, but because certain memories stay still. Yeah, some roads fade with time, and some stay written in your soul. I still take the long way home sometimes, just to remember who I used to be before life got cold. Windows down, old road, still feels a little like yesterday. Funny how a man can spend all day working for his family and still slowly lose them anyway. Another double shift on Friday, another late clock out again. Boss says overtime's a blessing, but it sure don't feel like one lately, friend. Truck tires humming down the highway, coffee gone cold in the seat, and all I keep thinking about is how quiet the house has been all week. Kids already asleep when I get there, porch light glowing soft and dim.
Your side of the bed feels farther now than any road I've ever been on. Guess money keeps the lights on, but it can't hold people close by itself. Overtime ain't fixing nothing at home. Ain't stopping hearts from drifting apart. Ain't putting back the conversations we stopped having in the dark. Yeah, I'm bringing in more money lately, but somehow losing more than I earn. Overtime ain't fixing nothing at home, and I'm finally starting to feel it hurt. Remember when we were younger, barely scraping rent together then. The funny thing is we had less money, but somehow we talked a whole lot more back then. Now there's silence at the dinner table, phones glowing in separate rooms, and every little thing feels fragile, like one hard wind could break us soon. Know you're tired too, darling, I see it underneath your eyes. Two people carrying too much weight, trying hard just to survive. Funny how adulthood sneaks in and turns love into logistics sometimes. Overtime ain't fixing nothing at home, ain't healing what exhaustion steals, ain't bringing back slow evenings when life still felt simple and real. Yeah, I keep saying just a little longer, like things will somehow work themselves out. But overtime ain't fixing nothing at home, and deep down I think we both know it now. Last Sunday I watched you sleeping, morning light across your face, and it hit me hard all at once, how fast the years have changed this place. Not because we stopped loving each other, maybe that ain't the problem at all. Maybe life just keeps piling pressure till people slowly stop feeling seen through it all. And maybe what scares me most ain't losing money or losing sleep, it's waking up one day realizing we got too tired to keep each other close anymore. Some men break their backs trying to provide everything, and still miss the one thing their family actually needed most. Overtime ain't fixing nothing at home, but maybe tonight I finally understand what good's another paycheck if your heart slips through your hands. Yeah, tomorrow that whistle still calls me, but maybe I'll leave a little sooner this time, 'cause overtime ain't fixing nothing at home, and I still love you enough to try. Truck in the driveway, porch lights still on, maybe not too late.
smells never really leave you. Sun ain't even fully risen, and I'm already underneath the hood. Old Ford coughing smoke again, trying to make it run halfway good. Shop radio playing quietly, same station every day. Coffee sitting cold beside me while another paycheck slips away. There's grease worked into my knuckles, can't scrub it clean no matter how hard I try. Guess some jobs follow you home long after quitting time. Funny how a man can work all week and still feel behind somehow. My hands smell like gasoline again, like all the time and barely getting by, like busted engines, late rent notices, and dreams pushed off another night. Yeah, this old town runs on working men, burning fuel just trying to survive. My hands smell like gasoline again, and I'm too tired to wonder why. Butted down at Station 7 and got laid off late last spring, and now he's fixing brakes beside me, just trying to keep food on the table again. Everybody's carrying pressure, most just joke instead of talking straight. Guess blue-collar pride means smiling even when life ain't going great. There's rust collecting on the toolbox, bills stacked up inside the drawer, and somehow every month costs more than the damn month before. Guess survival starts looking different when you ain't 20 anymore. Like sacrifice nobody really sees, like coming home too tired to speak and falling asleep before the TV. Yeah, I know this ain't some movie, ain't no hero waiting here, just my hands smelling like gasoline again. And another long, hard year. Dad smelled the same way growing up, motor oil, Lucky Strikes. Worked 30 years at the refinery till it finally wore down his spine. Used to think I'd do things different, find some cleaner roads somehow. Funny how life circles back around and here I'm now. Maybe there's honor in hard labor, maybe there's pride in getting through, but some nights I sit there wondering how much a man can give before he's used through. Sometimes I wash my hands 3 times and still smell gasoline underneath, like work found its way deeper than skin alone can reach. My hands smell like gasoline again, like another day that came and went, like old trucks, hard luck, blue-collar hope,
the shop lights buzz back on, my hands smell like gasoline again, and life keeps rolling on. Grease on the floor, cold coffee cup, another day done. Last shift of the week. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Factory lights still burning bright against the edge of morning gray. Coffee sitting in the cup holder, trying to wake my bones again today. Another clock and card waiting, another steel door rolling wide, another 12 hours trading sweat for a paycheck, barely keeping up with life. Funny how years start blending together when every week feels just the same. Same road, same boots, same tired eyes, still carrying the family name. Guess responsibility gets heavy when you've carried it long enough. One more shift before I go home, one more long day pushing through, one more sunrise over this steel town, trying to do what working men do. Yeah, life ain't turned out perfect, but quitting never fit my soul. One more shift before I go home. Maybe that's enough for now, somehow. Buddy at the locker beside me, talking about his little girl's first game. Says he's missed too many moments, trying to keep groceries on the table lately again. Funny how all of us here carry stories underneath these hats, men trying hard to hold families together while life keeps testing that. There's dignity inside hard labor, even if nobody says it much. This whole world keeps moving forward because somebody keeps showing up. Guess hope don't always look dramatic, sometimes it just looks like endurance. One more shift before I go home, one more ache deep in my back, one more day trying to stay hopeful on roads that slowly wear men down like that. Yeah, I know I ain't getting younger, and this town's changed more than I planned, but one more shift before I go home still feels like purpose in these working hands. Driving in before sunrise, I passed the old football field tonight. Remember being 17 there, thinking life would turn out lighter somehow in time. Now I got gray showing in my beard, bills folded in the passenger seat, but somehow I still believe there's something honorable and not admitting defeat. Maybe success ain't flashy. Maybe it don't look like TV screens. Maybe it's just staying kind in a world that keeps getting mean. Maybe it's loving your family even when you come home tired and worn. Maybe it's waking up again tomorrow, no matter how exhausted you are this morning. Funny thing about ordinary people, most never realize how much strength it takes just to keep going quietly every day. One more shift before I go home, one more sunset after work, one more chance to walk through that front door and remember what all this sacrifice is really for. Yeah, maybe your life ain't easy lately, but there's still love waiting past the dark. One more shift before I go home, and tonight that feels enough to keep this tired heart going on. Steel town, waking up, morning light breaking through, another day survived.
Funny how Sundays used to feel endless when we were kids. Sunlight sneaking through the curtains, coffee warming up my hands. First quiet morning all week long, without somebody needing something again. Truck parked still outside the driveway, work boots resting by the wall. And for a couple peaceful hours, life don't feel so heavy at all. You're humming softly in the kitchen, kids still sleeping down the hall. And moments like this make me realize maybe these little things are everything after all. Funny how peace gets more valuable the older you get. Sunday feels too short these days, barely enough time to breathe, barely enough time to slow down before the whole world starts pulling again next week. Yeah, I spent 6 days running hard, trying to stay ahead somehow, but Sunday feels too short these days, and tomorrow's already getting loud. Church bells ringing through town softly, grass freshly cut next door, old men sitting outside diners, talking like they've seen it all before. I used to dream about big cities, fast living, and getting somewhere fast. Now all I really want sometimes is one slow afternoon that lasts. Funny how priorities change somewhere between paying bills and growing older. You stop chasing excitement so much and start chasing peace instead. Guess adulthood teaches you rest becomes something sacred. Sunday feels too short these days. One blink and it's nearly gone. One family dinner, one sunset drive, and suddenly another Monday dawns. Yeah, life keeps speeding up around me faster than I ever planned. Sunday feels too short these days, but I try to hold on to every minute I can. Dad used to nap in his recliner every Sunday after lunch. Back then I thought he was wasting time. Now honestly, I understand too much. A man gets tired in ways sleep alone can't really fix, and sometimes quiet becomes medicine for a life moving too quick. Maybe happiness ain't complicated, maybe it's smaller than we think. Coffee cups, warm kitchens, loved ones near, and one calm moment before the next hard week begins. Funny thing about time, the older you get, the faster weekends disappear, and the more precious ordinary moments become. Sunday feels too short these days, but maybe that's why I hold it close. The slow mornings, the porch light evenings, and the people I love the most. Yeah, tomorrow the alarm starts ringing and life picks back up again, but Sunday feels too short these days. So tonight I'm gonna stay right here a while longer while I can. Coffee gone warm, sun falling slow. Another Sunday almost gone. Found that old hoodie in the back of my closet tonight. Faded gray with the sleeves worn out, still smells a little like bonfire smoke somehow. You borrowed at that football game, then wrote your name across the cuff one day. Said it so nobody'd steal it like anybody else would want it. Funny how back then something that small felt important. Guess we never realized what turns into memories later on. Your name written on my hoodie, some little piece of us never really left that old hill. Yeah, it's just ink on faded fabric, but it hits me every time I see it. Your name written on my hoodie, and somehow I still can't throw it away. I remember late night drives, you wrapped up in it half asleep, talking about after graduation like life would stay that sweet. Now everybody moves somewhere and half those roads don't feel the same, but every now and then I still catch myself saying your name. Funny how the smallest things can carry the most weight. Your name written on my hoodie, like a photograph I can still wear, like proof that we were young once and love really happened there. Yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous getting caught up over something like this, but your name written on my hoodie still feels harder to lose than I thought it'd be. Maybe I keep it around because it reminds me of who I was then, back before life got loud, back when everything felt simpler. Your name written on my hoodie, faded but it's still hanging on, kinda like those old summer memories that never fully leave once they're gone. Yeah, someday I'll probably lose it or finally pack it away, but tonight your name written on my hoodie still feels like yesterday. Funny what survives the years without even trying. Used to count down all year for this weekend. Main Street packed with pickup trucks, kids running wild through clouds of dust. Cotton candy and carnival lights, same old fairgrounds every July night. I walked past the Ferris wheel where we carved our names one year. Funny how a place stays standing long after people disappear. Everything looks the same, but somehow none of it feels like it used to. The county fair don't feel the same without you walking next to me, without your hand finding mine somewhere.
between the rides and memories. Yeah, the band's still playing country songs and the lights still light the sky, but the county fair don't feel the same since you stopped showing up around July. Is that little rain-tossed booth where you laughed when I missed every shot? And that old lemonade stand where we'd sit and talk till the parking lot got quiet. Now I just walk around slower, like I'm looking for something lost. Guess memories hit different when you finally realize what they cost. Funny how places can hold on to love even after love lets go. The county fair don't feel the same, not because the fairgrounds changed, but because you were part of everything that made this town feel alive back then. Yeah, I still come here every summer, though I don't really know why. Maybe hoping somehow I'll still find us somewhere beneath those carnival lights tonight. Maybe nostalgia's just love with nowhere left to go, and maybe that's alright sometimes. The county fair don't feel the same, but maybe it ain't supposed to now. People grow up, people leave, and life keeps moving somehow. Yeah, but every time those lights come on and the summer air rolls in, part of me still goes looking for you at that county fair again. Some places keep echoes long after the music ends.
This truck's seen better days. Truth is, so have I. Tailgate rusting near the corners, and paint fading underneath the sun, and driver's seat torn wide open, but she still runs when the morning comes. There's coffee stains beside the console, and old receipts stuffed in the dash. Half my life riding shotgun in this truck, held together through the cracks. Some folks chase brand new living, shiny things and higher ground. Me, I've just been trying to keep these wheels turning around this town. Guess survival don't always look pretty. Sometimes it just keeps moving anyway. Rust on the tail in the heart, that's about all I've had these years. A little faith, a lot of hard work, and learning how to carry fear. Yeah, life keeps throwing punches, but I ain't laid down so far. Rust on the tailgate, hope in the heart, and somehow that's gotten me this far. Mama used to say hard seasons make roots grow deeper underground. Dad worked 30 years at the refinery till the company finally shut it down. I remember nights around the kitchen, a bill spread out beside the sink. Still somehow they kept on smiling, even when life sat heavy to think. Maybe that's where I learned resilience. Maybe that's where strength begins. Watching ordinary people survive again and again and again. Funny thing about hope, it usually survives quietly. Rust on the tailgate, hope in the heart, still driving through another storm, still believing maybe someday life won't feel this warm. Yeah, this truck rattles down these highways like it's carrying all my scars. Rust on the tailgate, hope in the heart, and enough faith to make it a little farther. Some nights I pull off by the overlook, kill the engine and sit a while, watching lights from this old town flicker, thinking about every hard-earned mile. And maybe I ain't where I dreamed I'd be back when I was 17, but there's something honest about surviving without losing everything. Maybe dignity ain't flashy, maybe strength don't make the news. Maybe it's just waking up each morning, still refusing to lose. Funny how broken things can still carry people forward. Maybe hearts were that way too. Rust on the tailgate, hope in the heart, still rolling through these changing years, still carrying dreams half beaten up, but somehow still alive in here. Yeah, life ain't been gentle lately, but I'm still standing where you are. Rust on the tailgate, hope in the heart, and tonight that feels enough to keep driving on. Headlights cutting through the dark, old truck moving slow, still going. Still going. Ain't much fancy about our story, but it's ours. Started out in that tiny apartment, paint peeling off the walls, hand-me-down couch in the living room, could barely afford it all. You work mornings at the diner, I work nights down at the plant. Some weeks we barely made enough, but somehow we always managed. There were ramen noodle dinners and old tires we prayed would last, but every little thing we owned felt like something we built from scratch. Funny how love grows strongest sometimes when life ain't easy at all. We built this life one paycheck at a time, one long week, one sacrifice, one old truck still barely running, one dream somehow staying alive. Yeah, there were nights we both felt broken, but quitting never crossed our minds. We built this life one paycheck at a time, and honestly I'm still proud of what we survived. I remember when the baby came and money got tighter than before. You cried quietly in the kitchen, thinking we couldn't do it anymore. But somehow there was always supper, always Christmas lights in December, always enough love in that little house to make hard years feel warmer. Now the kids are nearly grown up and the roof still leaks when it rains, but every crack here tells a story of two people refusing to quit halfway. Guess real love ain't diamonds, sometimes it's just staying through the struggle. We built this life one paycheck at a time, through layoff bills and tired eyes, through old arguments at midnight and making up by sunrise. Yeah, life never got perfect, but maybe perfect ain't the point. We built this life one paycheck at a time, and somehow that little life became everything. I know we ain't rich people, never had some big house dream, but there's dignity in honest work and love stitched into ordinary things, like your coffee cup beside mine, or your jacket hanging by the door. Funny how after all these years, those little things matter more. Maybe nobody writes headlines about people living lives like ours, but there's something beautiful about surviving hard times without falling apart. Sometimes late at night, after the bills are paid and the house gets quiet, I look around this place and realize we really built all this together. We built this life one paycheck at a time, one hard year after another, one tired morning waking up, still choosing each other. Yeah, the world keeps getting expensive and life keeps moving fast, but we built this life one paycheck at a time, and somehow we made it last. Coffee brewing, house still standing, love still here.